Um, a very warm welcome to all our viewers who are tuning in. We have a very special guest today with us. We have Linden Tolhurst, Associate Director from Torrens University Australia. Linden, welcome to the session.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to sit down and have a chat with you, Deepa.
Right. In today's session, I was hoping that we could have some general discussion about Torrens University, as well as some of your popular courses, scholarships, and all of those things, do a roundup. So we'll start with Torrens in general. Could you talk a little bit about what is Torrens all about, as well as your USPs when it comes to Torrens as a university?
Sure, absolutely. So for those of you who haven't heard of Torrens University before, or who may know of us or heard of us, but don't really know a huge amount, we started in 2014. So we are one of Australia's newest universities, but we're Australia's fastest growing university. So we started with 146 students in the university in 2014. And as of 2022, we have 21,500 students. It's about 150-fold growth in a very short amount of time. I'll go through the USPs, but that in itself shows not only do our students come and study with us and they stay, it also means that they are happy to talk to their friends and community and encourage them to come and study with us too, which is a really great sign. So that said, we're Australia's fastest growing university. We have campus locations in Adelaide, Melbourne, where we both are, Sydney and Brisbane. So we provide that flexibility for where students might want to study their courses. That gives them a lot of options depending on where they want to live. There's reasons why students would want to study in Melbourne. Of course, it's great lifestyle, it's great arts, food, community, but also there's other reasons why they might want to study in Adelaide. There's various reasons why there's benefits to studying in a regional location. So what we offer is flexibility around where you want to study, and the courses in each of these locations are pretty much the same, which I know that we're going to go through campuses in a moment. Just to give a very, very brief overview, we have courses from diploma, bachelor, master's, and PhD. We also offer English pathway courses into our degrees. And broadly speaking, we have courses in health, education, business, hospitality, design, and creative technology. So just a very sort of brief overview of the course offerings that we have.
And that's great that you have 300 plus courses, I hear, and Australia's fastest growing university as well. Could you talk a little bit about the students who are studying in Torrens at the moment? What is the nationality mix like? What can students expect?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and it's something that we actually do focus on quite a lot as a university. It's very important to us that we have a very strong diversity mix within our classroom. So when I say that we've got 21,500 students enrolled with us, half of those are domestic students and half of those are international students. So then take that further again, what we do is we pride ourselves very much on our classrooms having a very strong mixture of students. And I've been talking to you, Aussizz, you are primarily, for the most part, refer Indian students to Torrens University, but that doesn't mean that the class will be Indian students. There'll be an Indian student next to a Colombian student, next to an Australian student, next to a Swedish student, and so on. And we have students from 118 different countries currently enrolled with us. So we're very much focused on making sure that our students do have a really big international experience, and we make sure that we celebrate that too. We recognize all of the different cultures and communities that come onto our campuses, and also to our Nepalese students and prospective students, a happy New Year to you today as well.
Yeah, it's New Year 2079 for them.
Yeah, happy 2079. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, ahead of us, I guess. Right. Now, I want to talk about different faculties within Torrens University. And let's start with the most popular one and the most students would want to look forward for information, nursing and health sciences. Could you talk about the nursing programs offered at Torrens, and are there seats available, and what sort of campuses where they can look forward to get into for the next intakes?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a very good question, because you're absolutely right. The nursing courses that we have are some of our most popular courses out of the, as you say, 300 plus courses. So we have both a diploma of nursing and a bachelor of nursing. So the diploma of nursing is a vet level program where it's 18 months in total duration, and students finish the course and they can register with APRA, which is the accrediting body to allow them to go out and practice as a nurse, as an enrolled nurse. So fully accredited for that. Now, we also have a Bachelor of Nursing, which is a higher ed course. It's 3 years in duration, and upon completing that, they can register as a registered nurse upon finishing the course. So what that means is they have, there are different course durations, different kind of skill sets that come out of them, and so the skills recognition from a professional recognition perspective are obviously a little bit different. But there are various reasons why students would want to do one or the other. Or another thing that we can do, you can actually do both, where you would do the 18-month diploma, then you would get a year of credits, and you just have 2 more years to do of the bachelor degree. And so what it means is you continue to study, but you have a professional qualification upon finishing the diploma, and you can go on and continue to do some part-time work if you want, and work as a nurse while you study to work to be a registered nurse. Now, the most important question is, are there seats? The answer is yes. But if you want to drill down into the detail a little bit more, it really depends where our students want to study. Obviously, Adelaide for us is an extremely popular destination for our nursing courses. And so the Diploma of Nursing is currently full for our next intake, which is May. And I'll go through intakes at the end of this, I'm sure. But the Adelaide campus is currently full, but all of our other campuses have spaces for our May intake. So plenty of spaces, plenty of room for you. If you want to come and do Diploma of Nursing with us, we have plenty of spaces. The other course that we have is the Bachelor of Nursing. Now, these are very, very, very competitive spots. They're very limited, and there's a hard cap on them. So even if somebody really passionately wants to get into the course, if the class is full, there's nothing that we can do. But we do have 2 intakes a year for the Bachelor of Nursing, being the September and February intakes only. And there's a little bit of detail around how you would qualify for those, and what I'd recommend you do if you're interested in doing the Bachelor of Nursing specifically, but even the Diploma of Nursing, I would tell you to go and speak to your local Aussizz branch. They can give you a bit more guidance, because it's a little complicated for me to go into just now. But we do have those courses available, and of course they're available at all of our locations as well. So in Sydney, Melbourne,
right,
Adelaide, and Brisbane.
Right. Talking about nursing and allied health and community health, one of your popular courses that is becoming to be is Bachelor of Community Services. Could you talk a little bit more about that course, where it's available, and its accreditation credentials and all that, please? Yeah,
absolutely. So it's the full course title is the Bachelor of Applied Social Sciences Community Services. So it's a course that's available in Sydney and Adelaide. So again, there is that flexibility depending on where you're wanting to study. You're able to go on and and sort of study whichever location you want for whatever reason you want to. So it's a 3-year bachelor level program, and as you said, it's to be honest, I've seen it especially this year with international students. Its popularity has absolutely soared. Which is just fantastic. So it's really, really good to see. Now, this is a course that's really only available for students who are onshore, because it does have a significant placement component. So if you're offshore, you can't really do this course online. This is for students who are in the country only. It's professionally accredited with the professional bodies. So upon graduation, you will be able to register and go on and register yourself as a professional. And go on and work in whatever field, because community services is a kind of an overarching term for a lot of different career paths or job prospects that you might want to go into. It's something that we focus on at Torrens University, and this applies to this course, but it applies to all of our courses really. Our real focus is on immersing our students' education with industry's expectations and industry experience. And something that we kind of name ourselves a little bit, or something that we like to say about ourselves, is that we're industry's university. So we ensure that there's not that separation between coming to do your Bachelor of Applied Social Sciences in Community Services and you don't just study this degree and then you finish and you go on to your job. There isn't that separation. What we aim to do is for you to do your course, immerse yourself with industry, either off campus in the form of placements or field trips or whatever it might be,
Right.
Also involving getting industry onto campus so that you can meet with industry, make sure that you understand what you're getting into, and then roll out it as you complete your degree. You're sort of equipped and you're experienced already with what the expectations are of you upon finishing. And that's probably why we have an employment rate across all of our faculties of over 90%. And I'll give you a very quick definition of what that means. So when we look at employability upon graduation, what we do is we don't just look at, okay, you have a job, therefore you are employed. Under our definition, or the way that we assess employment, is after 6 months after graduation, we get in feedback from our students and we find out, are you employed in a field that is related to the degree that you studied, or otherwise a field that you desired to go into while you're studying the degree. And so based on that metric, 90 or over 90% of our students go on to be employed in a field either decided to go into or related to the field that they studied. And that's I think that's something to be really proud of, because we make sure that students end up going where they want to go.
That's a very encouraging statistics in terms of graduate employability. I think for onshore, for Bachelor of Community Services, students who've completed Diploma of Community Services or Diploma of Youth Work, Diploma of Mental Health, and even Early Childhood Education and Care, they can choose the Bachelor of Communities. Applied Sciences?
Applied Social Sciences, yes.
Applied Social Sciences with specialization in community services, yes.
Correct, yep.
And of course, Torrens is very well known for your IT courses. So I hear that, yes, you have new Master of IT general program, as well as you have Master of Software Engineering specializing in cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and all that. Could you talk a little bit more about your IT faculty programs, as well as the accreditation credentials for these programs as well?
Yeah, sure. So there are a number of different tech-related courses, if you like, depending on what you want to go into and sort of what your interests are as a future professional. So we kind of separate these out into kind of three different broad areas.
Right.
So the first of all that we have is the MBIS, which I would say would be our most popular course overall.
Right.
Now that sits slightly to the side of these courses. That's ACS accredited. So our students do go on and can register with the ACS upon completing the course, which is fantastic. Now that MBIS is more a combination of IT with business, and that goes into business analytics, which is a very popular sort of career path. Now, more tech focused though would be, and this is the ones that I think you're more asking about, are either our Bachelor and Master of IT, which are more of your traditional type of IT courses. They are a little more down the line, but absolutely high quality, brand new, and already extremely popular, even though we launched them not that long ago. But also to the side of that, which have been around for a bit longer, and also have a great underpinning, as you say, is we have a Bachelor and Masters of Software Engineering. Mm-hmm. And then depending on which level you want to do, there are some slightly different specializations. The ones that you've mentioned are both available at the master's level with artificial intelligence and cloud computing. So they are sort of focused on those sorts of areas, and the way that they are written and taught is to allow you to go into the jobs of the future, if that makes sense. So what we want to do is we want to teach students to know what they're going to need to know in the future. We also have it at bachelor level too, with some various specializations in games and in artificial intelligence at that level as well. So those courses are extremely popular, but when I name those four different courses, being MBIS, MIT, and the software engineering, those two, we're really talking about four different kinds of students, even though they're all computer type courses. So what I'd recommend is to reach out to your Aussizz branch, have a chat with them. That they all work very closely with Torrens University, and they can give you a bit more information about each of the specific courses and which might best match your needs and where you want to go with your career.
Right. The General Master of IT course, does it have any specific specializations?
Not really, not at the moment. So it's a course that is essentially you kind of make your own specialization, and what I would say is either way, the course that you do would be an MITA, which is the Master of Information Technology Advanced. That's the course that international students would do. And it's made up of a combination of core and electives. With those electives, you can look at our elective bank if you want to go to our website, which is torrens.edu.au. Look at the technology courses, and you can sort of scroll through and you can have a look at the elective bank on there. You can have a look through and you can sort of build your own specialization within it. As the course develops down the line, I'm sure that we will develop some specializations that might be popular with students. At the moment, the course is relatively new in this form, and we're sort of delivering a high quality course to a lot of very engaged and interested students.
Right. And Linden, I want to talk about Master of Public Health course. I guess it's something where then more light need to be shed on that course, and it used to be popular before. So what sort of students can go for Master of Public Health course? From what background will that course align to?
Yeah, so I mean, there's really two answers to that. The first one is what we require as a university, and the other part is what is the typical student profile that we see. Right. Now, for the university, what we need in terms of background is we don't necessarily need a health-related background or anything like that. You just need to meet the English and academic entry requirements, so the IELTS and Australian equivalent bachelor degree. Right. So that's what the university requests. However, the typical students that we tend to see typically do tend to come from a health background. They either come from a clinical background, so that maybe from, if they're an international student, for example, they might come from a clinical background where they were a doctor or a dentist in their home country, or an optometrist or something like that, and they want to come here and they want to upgrade their skills in a more general sense. They might tend to do that. But we also get students who work in government and work in sort of health policy and that sort of thing, and they want to come and do this course too. And in fact, it's become really popular in the last few years, and especially in the last 2 years in particular. It's been such a focus, I think, because we've started to sort of understand how public health actually impacts the community and the population. A very, very quick and a little basic example, I think might be social distancing as a concept. So, I don't know about you, Deepa, but before COVID, I'd never heard of social distancing. I didn't know what that was, but I think most people do now. And that's an example of how they've seen, well, this virus is transmitted through the air. If we stand 1.5 meters apart, we're less likely to transmit it, and that will protect the population of the community, more effectively. So that's an example of a public health initiative that is then rolled out by the government to say that we recommend this. So that's just a very rough example of something that a public health professional might develop and implement.
Yes. So traditionally, students who've come from a health background, I've seen pharmacists, dentists, social workers, even doctors opting for Master of Public Health to get involved in policy making and in government decisions and all of those things.
Your government positions, but even in NGOs offshore, or wanting to look at, bring it home to their community and sort of use that for the betterment of their community. But there's a lot. I mean, the more you go into it, the more you look at the course, the more sort of opportunities there are to sort of use that course.
Right. And I want to touch upon scholarships. I know Torrens University offers a broad range of scholarships for international students. Could you give our audience an overview on that, please?
Yeah, sure. So we have a very long list of scholarships. So, there are a lot of different scholarships that would be applicable for different candidates, depending on their background, depending on which course they're studying and what location they're in. As a broad rule of thumb, we have scholarships from 15 to 35% available. Onshore students especially will more likely than not be eligible for a scholarship of some value. But I know that that's very broad, and all I can say is the reason is because there's just too many for me to sit here and list off, and it will take the rest of the day for me to sort of name them all and what you'd need to do to meet the criteria or not. So what I'd recommend is if you're wanting to, anything that I've said today, if that's interested you at all, and you're wanting to know a bit more about Torrens University and want to go ahead and apply for one of our courses, reach out and talk to your local Aussizz branch. They know us very well. They speak with me and my team all the time. So they will ensure that you get the highest value scholarship available. That's all I can say. I mean, I could sit here and say if you've got a specific course question, I could tell you what might be available, but it's a bit beyond this, and it depends on your background, which is a little bit hard to say, but between 15 to 35%, depending on a range of different factors.
That in itself is very attractive. I want to talk about the kind of student support Torrens University students can expect. And also, you touched upon how industry-oriented Torrens University is. Could you talk about some of the industry collaborations that Torrens University has going as well?
Sure. All right. So first of all, student support. That's something that's very important to us. And I think if you look at the fact that we have a retention rate across all courses of over 90%, over the course of 2 to 3 years, 9 out of every 10 international students finish their course with us. So that really speaks to the quality of the course and everything like that. But more importantly, it talks about the support services that are available. How many things can go wrong in anyone's life, let alone an international student who's in a foreign country. So when it comes to support services, there are a range of traditional support services that I think probably most universities have. We have academic skills support. We have support staff to allow you to use the different software platforms, or at least assist you with the different software platforms that we use for student learning. There's all of those sorts of support as well. But also on top of that, every student has a success coach. Now, a success coach comes from the industry. They will be a specialist in design or business or health or whatever the field may be. And they are there to help and guide students through their entire course. They're essentially a mentor when it comes to their courses and their careers and where they want to go, but they're also there to help them with, those smaller details that students mightn't necessarily be aware of. How to structure your classes to make sure that you finish your course before your COE end date. You've failed some subjects and you need to sort of make sure that you don't do the wrong subjects that you don't have the prerequisites for and that sort of thing. They're there to assist you and make sure that you finish your course, as efficiently as you can, and making sure that you do all the right things along the way. So that's a big thing. And I think since we brought them in quite a while ago now, about eight years ago, something like that, they've really shown to be very, very beneficial. To be honest, not all students use them. Not all students necessarily need them, but a lot of students do, and a lot of students get a lot of benefit out of having a success coach available to them. Every student has access to one, so you may as well use it. Now, when it comes to the industry, for every single faculty, we have hundreds of potential partners. If you hospitality, you look at a hotel, and we have, not only are we connected to that industry, we probably have a graduate working there. But some notable ones, for example, the software engineering courses that we're talking about earlier, they were written in collaboration with Amazon and IBM, two pretty recognizable industry connections. In design, I mean, there's just down in Port Melbourne here, there's a big design studio there that won some Academy Award. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, for a scene that they created in Game of Thrones. And we have students that do their placement there with them. And this is world-class, award-winning studios, and we have our students go there. Not only that, we have them come and visit us as well. We're very much connected to that industry, and depending on you give me a faculty, and I'll tell you who we work with. It's that way around. And not only that, I mean, I think the important thing is that a lot of our academic staff aren't just pure full-time academics. We have a lot of them work in the industry and sit on boards of large companies and large sort of committees. So very well connected, yeah.
Right. We have this session streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube at the same time. So I've got some questions as well coming in. Obviously, nursing is a very popular choice. So there's one who's asking about the conversion program. So I guess what they essentially want to know is that if I'm an overseas nurse, will I get some credits if I apply for your Bachelor of Nursing program?
Possibly. It's a bit of a difficult one to say. And the reason for that is essentially when our students finish their course, basically part of our course is that we ensure that if you finish our degree, that you'll be able to register with the nursing board and be able to go on to practice. Now, what happens there is that, that is because you are doing certain courses. That means that you'll have certain skills outcomes.
Right.
Now, the complicating factor with overseas qualifications is that we're not necessarily sure of what skills you've obtained by doing that course. So what you would need to do is to submit an application to us. You'd need to submit your academic transcripts and subject outlines for those subjects that you'd be looking to get credit for. And that gets sent to our nursing department, and somebody from that department will then assess it, and your eligibility for credits will then be sort of looked at and granted or not. The reason that they wouldn't be granted is because they don't feel as though you would then be able to register at the other end of the course. But so at face value, it's hard for me to say. I can say that credits do get granted for overseas applicants, but only a certain percentage. If you're looking for just a short upgrade course, we don't offer that. You would still need to do the overwhelming amount of the course with us.
Right. Dreamwin says, hello, sir. Is TOEFL accepted in this university for masters?
Yes.
Yes, I've scored an overall 89.
Yes, we accept TOEFL.
All right. Yes. Okay. Dreamwin, you can contact Aussizz further, and we can help you with your application for Torrens. So that's a good roundup of information. So if international students are looking forward to start the course with Torrens University this year, what are some of the intakes that are happening right now?
Perfect timing. So we're in the middle of our T1 study period at the moment. So there's time to get your applications in, go and talk to Aussizz, get your applications in and get yourself enrolled for us. And our next major intake is the 30th of May. So that's in about, 6 weeks time, something like that. Right. So orientation starts the week before. So obviously I'd recommend you get your enrollment finalized before that. But we do have a lot of flexibility around commencements too. So we do have, after that, we do have another 3 intakes. We've got one in July, one in September, and one in November as well. So depending on your circumstances and your current situation about when you want to or need to start studying, right, we do have some flexibility around that too.
So that's plenty of intakes to look forward to for students as well.
Absolutely.
Yes, I think we pretty much covered the overarching information about Torrens and the courses as well. Thank you so much, Linden, for the session and accepting our invite and participating in the session.
Always a pleasure. Always going to accept them.
Yeah, and thank you for the questions as well. But if you have more questions, you can drop in the comment box and I will answer them today. And happy Easter, everyone. And hope you all have a good long weekend. Thank you so much, Linden. Thank you.